Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Saltcast. I am your host, Alex, as always. I'm here with the incredible Bert and Sebastian.
Name's Bert.
We just finished, well, not just finished, but recently finished playing through Halo 3. So that's the next part of our Halo series that we're going to go over.
Replaying. It was a pretty good game.
I don't know if you said replaying or playing, but...
Yeah, we've all played it before. We just played through it again. So, yeah, we're going to this is going to go like similar to the other episodes in the series. We're going to just go through the campaign, talk about the story and the narrative and all of that stuff. We'll probably be
multiplayer stuff.
Yeah, we'll probably be able to hit the multiplayer. It won't be 2 episodes like the Halo 2 one. So, we can kind of just jump right into it if you guys are ready.
I'm always ready. I actually replayed it again recently since we've played it.
Oh, wow, really?
That means you should probably start us off since it's so fresh in your head.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll kind of just go level by level and talk about each kind of walkthrough of the story.
All right, Halo 3 starts off basically immediately after Halo 2. So, if you remember the ending from Halo 2, the homie's on his way back to Earth on the key ship chasing the Prophet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because the idea is we are now knowing that the Ark exists, and they're like, man, looks like it's on Earth. And then the Covenant's on their way, like, just absolutely destroying Earth during, like, the events of Halo 2.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Halo 3 starts with Chief returning to Earth on the key ship that the Prophet's taking. There's a whole book that takes place in this time talking about how Chief almost killed the Prophet, but actually a Jackal sniper stopped him.
Typical Jackal snipers.
He was like seconds away from
days.
destroying the Prophet and ending the series, but a Jackal sniper bodied him, and then he ends up falling off the ship, and that's how the game starts.
Yeah, it starts with a little, like a shooting star, which is Chief, falling to Earth and crashing into the African jungle, and then
just casually
from Cortana.
Yeah, and so Johnson and some Marines are the ones that kind of find him, and he's like knocked out. Basically, he's like unconscious.
They think he's dead, don't they?
Yeah, they think he's dead. So like they radio to like have people come and pick him up because they can't leave him there.
And he's heavy.
He is heavy.
And he is heavy. And then at the last second, he like wakes up and tells them that they're not leaving him.
Well,
here.
because Johnson was reaching towards his helmet to extract Cortana, and he was like, she's my girl.
Well, she's not there.
Yeah, she's not even there.
Oh, what was he removing from his helmet then?
He was checking for Cortana, but he didn't have her.
Yeah, but she wasn't even there because she was left behind on High Charity.
My fault. Oh, yeah, duh.
Yeah. And then we get the reveal of the Arbiter, who uncloaks himself, and turns out he's working with the Marines.
Still chilling with Johnson after Halo 2.
And Johnson, Chief holds a magnum to his face, to his mandibles.
Like, oh no,
quite the tense moment.
Yeah. But it's pretty badass. Like, the two of them kind of start this little rapport of, like, communicating through just subtle nods throughout the game.
Yeah, they never speak a word, do they?
They do say a couple words here and there.
Arbiter says some things to Chief, but I don't think Chief ever actually answers him.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Nods his approval.
For a man that doesn't have a face, he says plenty of words.
Yeah.
So the Halo 3 is when Halo started like doing this awesome thing with their advertisements. I don't know if you guys have seen any of them. It has Halo 3 has a bunch, Halo ODST has a bunch, Reach has a bunch. Actually, even Halo 5 has some. But they started doing these really high quality like real life trailers.
Yeah, they're live action trailers.
Yeah.
Oh,
so there's like this really cool canon live action. It's probably like 5 to 7 minutes or something like that.
I think you showed me.
Marine / ODST squad who are like trying to get a target locator on Chief as he's falling from the key ship, and it's like this whole mission that they go on just to find out where he lands.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually seen that.
It's really cool because you can see like they're literally like there's so many of these people that are just willing to like die basically just for the possibility that Chief might survive this fall.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool.
Chief is like the game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Halo
it's like
3,
a huge operation. It's really cool.
That is
I
cool.
think it's called Landfall.
Halo 3 is the one that has the trailer with like the bubble shield, right? Where he like jumps in and does that crazy thing.
Yeah, that's another good one. That's a CGI trailer though.
Yeah, that one's CG. But that one's good too.
But yeah, watch Halo Landfall sometime. It's good. I think it's called Landfall.
Okay. So then the new plan is to kind of evacuate and get out of the jungle. So Arbiter and Chief team up and kind of like help lead the Marines through the jungle and towards like wherever it is that they're going to be evacuated from.
Yeah. Then the ships get shot down. They're like, no, no.
Yeah.
Then you're forced through a jackal sniper alley, but you find out that they've nerfed them in this game, so they're still annoying,
they're nowhere near
they're reasonable.
As brutally hard as they were in Halo 2.
They're not
they
one
miss,
shot.
like every 3
They're
shots.
2 shot.
Yeah. Roughly.
And usually they have carbines. It's rare that they have an actual beam rifle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is true too. And during this process, Johnson actually gets captured by the Brutes because the Brutes
Classic
are now like
Johnson,
the new.
he gets captured every game.
Yeah, the new head of the Covenant like military force. So the Brutes are the main enemy now.
Yeah, well, because the elites have completely split off at this point. It's no longer like this battle going on. Like in Halo 2, they've completely split off and allied with the humans.
I think it's pretty cool that the enemies in the first game don't stay the enemies for the whole series. Like
Until you
midway
get to
through
the
the second
343
game,
games and they pretend that the original
none
trilogy
of that
didn't
happened.
Yeah. So make your way through the
It is
jungle.
cool, though.
You eventually find Johnson where he's being held by a Brute chieftain and big like freaking
Johnson actually
detachment of
goes and
brutes.
punches it like it's gonna do something.
Yeah, just punches
Johnson
it. The
is
Brute just
him.
takes it like a champ, eats that.
And he goes,
Um,
"Get in that cell, you stupid idiot."
Yep. So you break him out of the cell with the other Marines. You fight off all the Brutes till your Pelicans arrive, and pretty much that's like the level. You evacuate and move on to the next. Next section.
Here's the thing about Halo 3. The first 2 levels are all right, and then the game just aggressively is awesome for the rest of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, there's no shitty levels. There's one okay one, one, and then the rest is just like bam, bam, like god tier levels.
Yeah. I mean, you could make an argument for one of the ones at the end as not being the greatest, but it's
I think
debatable.
your fun level, like your funness of the level, depends on what player you are too, and like if you're able to like get vehicles and stuff.
Yeah, I
You know
mean,
what I'm
this
trying to say?
game of the series, this game is like the heaviest on letting you have fun with vehicles.
That
Yeah,
is
that's
very
true.
true.
Even compared to the future games, like more than to this point, 2024, I think still Halo 3 is like the one that gives you the best vehicle sandbox.
Yeah, the sandbox is definitely the best in this one, I think. So, move on to the next section or level. Crow's Nest.
Scarab fights are awesome.
You
This
evacuate.
part's cool. This relates to the landfall thing actually, because there's a bunch of like, as you're flying in Crow's Nest, the cutscene, they're like bringing Chief and the Arbiter in, and there's all these like absolutely fucking destroyed Marines, and apparently a lot of them are like survivors from that landfall thing. So when they see Chief come back, they're like, "Holy shit, he's actually alive!"
Yeah, they're all super excited. They've got like freaking eyes missing and bandages all over them, and it kind of like builds up the suspense of like, oh man, Chief's here. Like we actually have a chance. Like
Yeah, like
builds
they
up.
actually are so. And then on the same side, like you get to see 2 really cool things here because Chief comes in and all that, and Miranda Keyes is actually like in charge of this base. It's like this outpost of this like old military structure that has been put out, but you know at this point we're just using whatever we got because Earth's getting fucked. So they've started using this, and like Miranda is like seemingly in charge of the main effort, while at least like on the ground. And so she's like walking Chief and Arbiter through the base, and like he said, that's when you see all these like absolutely destroyed Marines who are like barely surviving. They get all excited because Chief's there, but then at the same time you get to see the reaction to Arbiter too walking through, and that's hilarious.
Yeah. He's even bigger than Chief, so like Chief's
because he's
tall.
The enemy.
No, I mean like literally bigger.
Oh
like,
yeah, physically too.
Yeah, physically. Chief's 7 feet tall. Arbiter's a little bit taller than him, and so like it's pretty crazy the two of them like walking through this place with a bunch of normal guys.
Yeah, they like get all excited when Chief comes by, and then they like back away scared when Arbiter comes through.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like a little story like element that is like played out throughout like non-important characters, like just Marines in the fight.
It adds a sense of realness to the world. Because like in game, the AI responds that way too to things.
Yeah, they do respond differently to Chief or Arbiter.
Yeah, they will say different things depending on who you are.
That's another cool thing that you go.
It's cool to see like even like the background characters in a cutscene act normal in real gameplay. It just adds to the overall immersion of the experience.
And I think something that adds to like just like it used to be such a core identity to Halo, and I think Halo 3 is where they peaked on this, is like how they like integrate the co-op into like canon. You know, you're not just both Chief. Like one of you is Arbiter and one of you is Chief, and that's so cool.
Yeah, that is a good point. That isn't usually the case.
At least when it's available, they do it.
Yeah.
It's just awesome. But anyway, so you're walking through the base with Miranda, Johnson, what's his name, Arbiter. And basically she's telling you, like, we're getting fucked. They're digging in the middle of... Every single Covenant force has focused here in East Africa. They're digging for something. We don't know what the hell's going on. Things are going terribly. We're losing every single fight that we've been in. Half of the people out here are dying or dead.
Yeah.
Things are not looking too good.
Yeah, it's humanity's last stand. Like, the Earth is all that they have left. The Covenant are there. Like you said, they're digging for whatever they're looking for, which we know is what they're looking for. It's the Ark. So then you make your way through the base.
Then you get interrupted in the middle of her explaining.
Yeah, and you get interrupted by the Prophet of Truth. He sends like a threat message kind of thing, basically taunting and gloating at the humans and talking about like he is their salvation.
Chief
and all
stands no
this stuff.
chance against us. You're doomed. We're gonna fire the rings.
Your life is over. Goodbye now.
Yeah. But by doing that, he kind of like played his hand and unintentionally revealed that the Covenant were about to attack. So he kind of screwed them in a way.
Yeah, but then Miranda's like, we're gonna evac everyone from here because, like, honestly, most people here are not in the condition to fight in this base that you're in. Like, yeah, there's a couple Marines that are still alive, but most of them are dead, pretty much.
Yeah, so the plan's to evacuate, and then you start that process. You have like
this
a couple
is,
different...
I think, probably the weakest level of the game. It's not bad, but it's just like super average.
Yeah, it's definitely average. So you go and have like a few different objectives where you got to go get Marines out of certain places, or they're trapped, or they're pinned down, and
yeah, you're just clearing out hangars for people to evac.
Yeah, clearing out hangars for Pelicans to get out, going to the barracks to help Marines that were trapped by brutes.
And, I mean, it's pretty fun, though.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah, and it's not like a bad one. It's just the thing is that like this game has such like a heavy vehicle influence in its gameplay, and like the first two levels are the ones that have no vehicles.
Yeah. And the game does another cool thing we didn't mention it in the first level, but it happens in the second level too, where the brutes and Marines will interact in certain ways. Like they will beat the Marines and like kill them, and you can like actually prevent it from happening if you're like quick enough.
Yeah, there's like dialogue like between the brutes and the Marines.
Yeah, little moments that comes like that are cool.
Comes up in a lot of levels, actually. What'd you say?
Doesn't it come up in other games? Or at least maybe not that exact thing, but like when you're trying to defend something for people to like, when you're trying to rescue people, you do your job good enough, everyone can be rescued. But equally, if you are kind of putzing around, you can everyone can end up dying, and then the dialogue will change depending on how good you do.
Yeah, but there's set pieces of it.
Yeah,
remember there's this Marine being choked out in the first level on a log, and the brutes are questioning him, and he's like, "Nah, I'm not going to tell you anything." And you can just watch it happen, and he'll get executed, and you can stealth by, or you can actually save him, and then he'll help you and probably die 10 minutes later to a jackal sniper.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yep. And there was a plan to set off a bomb in the base with the Covenant in it, but Covenant ended up taking control of that, and so now Chief has to go in and clear them out and set it up again.
Yeah, she's like, everyone's evac. We need you to reactivate the bomb.
Yeah, so goes back to the control room, kills all the brutes, reactivates the bomb, and escapes.
Gets out of there. She's like, there's a service elevator. Get to it. And then you get in the elevator and it crashes to the ground.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's an alright level. I mean, just mid. Okay. Then from this point forward, though, the game gets god tier.
We're on that rising action.
This is where the game climaxes for 7 or 8 levels, however many. I think there's 9 total levels. So.
Yeah. So you crash into the bottom of the elevator shaft, and there's a bunch of Marines down there, again, all wounded and beat up and struggling to organize and all that. And get word from Miranda that your guys are what's the word called, regrouping at a different place. So you head out.
Yeah, on the Salvo Highway, a few miles east of Boy, at least according to the guy on the radio that I hear every time I play that level.
Yeah, so that's the plan. Go through a garage, get a warthog, and you start your trek outside
on the Salvo Highway. Hell yeah! And I know we say it in every game, but oh my god, Halo's skyboxes are so freaking good. It gets even better than this level. Even better than this level. It gets, but this is your first time seeing one of the good ones of this game, because the first level's 4, second level's inside.
Yeah.
You can look off to the side and see all these huge Covenant ships, this massive hole they're digging, more ships flying in over time. It's crazy.
Yeah, it adds to the spectacle and the grandness of what's actually happening. So it's pretty cool and interesting. And you can see the key ship too down there in there.
Yeah, in the center. It's so cool. And just as you progress, there's these set pieces that are taking place way out in this, area that they're excavating, and you just see different things happening. It's awesome. But anyways, this level is basically awesome. It's kind of I guess I was gonna say Metropolis, but you get a tank on Metropolis. It's the Warthog level,
It's a little more fast paced too. The Warthog, you're literally on a highway at some points. There's streets and certain pathways, and there's more openness to it. You're getting in little skirmishes here and there with little detachments of the Covenant, linking up with other groups of Marines and helping them hold positions and things like that.
Yeah, you're basically just trying to get everyone together, regrouped, so that you can do a push on... the plan is the Covenant are digging, like she said. They've been trying to, bomb the key ship and all the different Covenant ships, but the Covenant has, these anti-air guns set up. So Chief's job is to go and take down these anti-air guns so that the long swords can, nuke the shit out of the Covenant. Yeah, first, you got to regroup everyone.
Yeah, that's after you regroup. So Salvo Highway ends with pretty big. There's some wraiths and choppers, and it gets pretty hectic, and you're riding around on
that end section of Salvo Highway with the wraiths and the shade turrets and the choppers is so good.
Yeah, that's a great section, and
it's awesome.
You're given so much freedom.
And then the music's popping off.
Yeah, the music is great.
Big levels too.
The soundtrack is
huge
really good.
Level.
Music's popping off. There's explosions going around. You have Marines in your ears.
So this game introduces a few things, though. Some of them you got earlier, but just because the main one I think comes up on this level, which is the chopper. I think the Halo 3 chopper is the best vehicle in Halo. I love it.
It is fun to use.
It's not good in Infinite, and it never returned besides Halo 3, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
Halo 3's chopper rocks, and also equipment is introduced in Halo 3, which we kind of talked about a little bit.
Oh yeah. Well, not really. We didn't.
We mentioned the bubble shield trailer.
Yeah, there is equipment that you can pick up now and use. There's different things like a bubble shield. It just generates like a force field around you in like a certain area that you can stand in. And
well, you got the bubble shield, the trip mine, the regen, deploy cover, grav lift. I don't know what it's called, but the invincibility thing.
Yeah. Energy drain knocks out shields.
Energy drain. Active camo is actually a power up, not a.
Well, in this,
those are them.
In this, it's an ability or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is an equipment.
I like the bubble shield.
Here's the cool thing about this. I'll keep this short, but the only games really with equipment are Halo 3 and Infinite, because 5 has like Spartan abilities and 4 has Spartan abilities, and Reach also kind of has Spartan abilities.
Yeah.
I prefer equipment just for a reason I'm going to explain now. I feel like the best comparison of equipment is 3 to Infinite, because Infinite's the only other one with equipment. But I feel like Halo 3's equipment works so much better than Infinite's, because they're like, majority of the time, with some exceptions, they're not like directly impacting only the user, if that makes sense. Like you throw a bubble shield, it impacts both people equally, or a grav lift, or a power drain, or a regen, or a trip mine. Whereas in Infinite, it's like thrust. That doesn't do shit for anyone but you.
They affect the battlefield.
Seeker. But on both sides, right? Like you can be going against someone that throws a bubble shield, and you can play better than them and use that bubble shield more advantage to you, even though they threw it, or a power drain, or a regen, or a trip mine, or a grav lift.
Yeah.
Whereas in Infinite, not really. With exception, though, they're kind of bringing the regen back. That looks kind of cool, except it also does vehicle healing, which is pretty cool. That might be good. Who knows?
Yeah. So the Savo Highway ends. You regroup with everybody, and you move on to the next thing, like you were mentioning, taking out the anti-air stuff. And so one thing to mention about Halo 3 compared to 2, like, there's not a lot of exposition. 2 has a lot of exposition. There's a lot of small, subtle moments between Chief and Cortana, like laying the groundwork of like what's going on, the greater story, things like that, inner workings of the Covenant. 3 is like all build up and all crescendo, like for a majority of the time.
That's mostly true, but I think that part of the it definitely is true that there's more exposition in Halo 2. But I also think the exposition that Halo 3 does have, they throw it more into gameplay than cutscenes. Like, it ends up usually happening with someone talking to you while you're playing the level.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's still
subtle.
Cortana
things.
Yeah, the Cortana like visions kind of add a little bit, but it's just there. It's much more subtle.
I mean, there's definitely less for sure. Like if you're like to judge them on a number, Halo 2 is like 10 exposition, and Halo 3 is like 4.
Yeah. So the next level, like you said, you working together with the Marines, and
after going through some awesome Warthog chopper stuff, you now have regrouped everyone.
Yep, and you are making your way through. I don't even know where you're at exactly. It's like a junkyard kind of a thing.
I think you're just continuing down, the Max's shipping yard or something like that.
Yeah, and the Covenant have huge anti-air cannons set up and anti-air wraiths. And so
and it's like you sending everyone in, take these out.
It's not too complicated. That's really
that's it. You're just trying to take these guns out.
Yeah, and they set up major, like, awesome set-piece battles.
Yeah, basically. There's some huge Covenant defenses on your way there. Like, on your way in, it starts off in this on-foot inside section. Eventually, it opens up. What just happened?
I was trying to remember this level, but it just clicked in my head when you said the inside bit.
So you go through this inside section. It eventually opens up a little bit, and you get some ghosts. And I think there's a Warthog with you. And at this point, it's like, you got to take out some of these anti-air wraiths that are shooting down our Hornets.
Yeah. Well, you get bunch of Marines on mongooses, and
that's later
with rockets.
That's the next section. So after you take out these anti-air rates, they're like, all right, Chief, push to the next opening, clearing, whatever it's. I don't know what you'd call those cliffs areas, but
yeah.
They're like, push to the next one. There's more anti-air rates. And you're like, all right. So you go into another inside section, push with the Marines a little more. Opens up again. But here, now, like you said, you got your line of probably 4 or 5 Mongies with Marines with rockets on them. And they're like, okay, go take out this next set of anti-air rates and ghosts and wraiths and stuff like that.
Yeah. And that alone is a pretty fun experience.
Yeah, that ends up being a pretty hard battle. Especially and banshees and shit shooting down at you,
it's tense.
Yeah, it's a big. And then you finish this battle, and you're like, "Holy shit, that was rough. That was awesome." And then Johnson comes over the radio. He's like, "Chief, there's something big closing on your location." You're like, "What the hell? That was so awesome. What they can't top that. What could be happening?"
Mm-hmm.
Bert, you remember now, obviously this level.
Yeah, and then it's the ground rumbles, and then a scarab comes.
Yeah, it literally climbs over the top of the building. It just climbs
over the building.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, all right, how are we going to handle this one?
You're like, holy shit. And then you're expecting, some kind of set piece thing. But then it actually ends up being a non-linear gameplay thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like a quick time event or
it's not
in
scripted.
Halo 2's Scarab where it's just in a straight line pretty much and you got to get onto it. And you're not really fighting the Scarab, you're fighting the people on it.
Yeah, the Scarab once it gets
introduced, it just starts roaming. Oh, and it doesn't roam, but it will move around depending on where you physically are.
Yeah, the Scarab has its own AI. It's crazy. And you realize you're like, holy shit, this is actually an enemy. It's not like a set piece thing. This is part of the level.
You have to survey your surroundings and see where you can try to board it.
You're like, how the fuck am I supposed to get on this thing?
Yeah, and the level design is great and so really good. Smart in the way that they do it. They give you a lot of options on how to get on top of this thing.
Yeah, there's 4 different ramps you can not easily, but you can jump a mongoose onto it. They have this mechanic with scarabs where if you can do enough damage to their joints, they kind of fall down for a little bit, allowing you to get on. There's 2 cranes in the side of the map that you can get on and try and jump onto it while it's moving.
So many different options.
Yeah, it really makes it really fun.
They have the missile pods in the back.
You replayability.
Yeah, it does. And they have the missile pods in the back. You could shoot the back off and try and snipe out its core.
Yeah. There's tons of options, and it really allows the player to choose how they go about completing that objective.
Plus it's so funny now that the scarabs are an actual thing when you're trying to jump onto a scarab or you're driving around underneath it and it just steps on you and destroys you or it kicks you and sends you flying across the map.
Sidelines you last second.
Yeah. Or you go to jump off the crane and it has its own AI so it backsteps you and you just fall to your death.
Yeah. There's a lot of funny moments that happen because of this.
This level is probably the point where everyone was like, fuck, man, Halo 3. This game is peak. A new level of gaming. And at that point, you're probably thinking to yourself, it's been so long since I played it my first time, so I don't remember what I originally thought. But I feel at that point, you're probably thinking, they can't top this. This is peak right now.
Yeah.
How can it get better? But listen to how amazing this level is, and I'm telling you, no contest, 3 levels are definitely better than this, and there are a couple you could argue maybe, but there's definitely 3 better than this one.
That's wild.
So you defeat the Scarab, and you move on, and you take out the final anti-air gun, and you complete that objective.
Yeah, you go through another inside section and fight some hunters and brute chieftains and stuff, but
yeah.
But I wanted to mention something though, because after the Scarab, you go inside this inside section, and you see a bunch of Marines that have just been fucked up, and they're on the side, barely alive. You could see that they were basically getting bodied until Chief showed up.
Yeah.
And then as you're continuing through, because this is Earth, this is no longer like the other games where you're fighting in Halo rings or in space or on a military ship or something. as you're progressing through this last section of the level, you actually see like these construction or shipyard workers, like just running for their lives with their little handguns that the Marines have given them, like just trying not to die.
Yeah, and they do try to help you. Yeah. So then, like I said, you take out that final gun, and then it transitions to...
Just adds to the world more.
It does.
And then you transition to this cutscene where...
Badass cutscene.
Yeah, a massive Covenant ship flies in overhead, and it's like obviously infected by the flood.
Well, you skipped a lot. So, what happens actually is you take out the anti-air gun. Chief and Arbiter go and look over to see what the hell's going on, because they've taken out their gun, and then you hear Hood comes over like your thing, and he's like, all UNSC ships now fire at the key ship. So you see like tons and tons of longswords flying in, just like bombing the shit out of the key ship.
And frigates and ships and everything.
Yeah, everything. And then all of a sudden, like this huge light comes out of it. It shoots into the sky. Like this massive shockwave goes across the entire like visible area, throws Chief and Arbiter back into a rock. And then like this huge portal opens up on top of it. What's that?
Like a shockwave almost?
Yeah.
That's what I said, I think.
Oh.
I thought I said that. Maybe I didn't. But anyways, so then a huge portal opens up and everyone's like freaking out. They're like, yo, what the fuck did he just do? Did he shoot the rings? Are we about to die? You know, like everyone's freaking out.
Is this the end?
And they're like, no, we're alive. What did he do? No one has any idea what he did. Everyone's freaking out. There's a massive freaking portal over Africa. There's a massive explosion. Like all of the UNSC ships were like basically destroyed by the opening of that portal, crashed down.
Yeah.
And then as everyone's freaking out, then as you said, this Covenant ship, I think it's a Corvette, I can't remember though, flies through out of the portal. Well, out of its own slip space portal actually. That just crashes into somewhere and clearly infected with the flood.
And so that diverts like the humans and the elite's attention from, because all of the Covenant went through that portal along the key ship, and all the Covenant forces left. And so now the humans and the elites are dealing with the fact that the flood is here on Earth, and they have to try and figure out a way. And
there's
to
such
deal
a
with
cool
that.
line too, where like this ship crashes down, and like the flood is not a very well known thing in the Halo universe. Like the only people to have seen it at this point and lived are Chief Miranda, Johnson, Arbiter, and a couple, like, as far as the main characters. And I mean, like, maybe a couple Marines or something, but I think most of the Marines all the Marines that were with Chief in Halo 2 died, because he's the only one who made it back. So, no Marines have ever seen it that are alive.
The ones with Johnson, maybe.
They all died. So... this ship crashes and Hood's like, what is it, more brutes? Chief's like, no.
No, Arbiter says that.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it's Chief.
No, Arbiter says, what is it, more brutes?
Oh, yeah, you're right, sorry. And then Chief's like, worse.
Yeah, and then the next level begins. And like the entire like scenery has changed. The music is different. It's more ominous.
You got the flood fog over the whole map.
Yeah, the green fog is everywhere. Yeah. You can hear them screaming in the background, and like in the background of certain areas.
It's like it's Halloween outside all of a sudden.
And you can hear like Marines and stuff just yelling of like these agonizing screams of pain.
Yeah, you can actually see Marines fighting, some of them in like the distance.
And this is I feel like this is not hyped on enough, because Halo 3 does the flood so fucking good. Like, they really progressed the flood. There's so many new additions to the flood as an enemy in this game. So as you like progress through the level, like you were saying, you actually can, as you're going, it starts off kind of like ominous. Like you said, you see them jumping over you, but not attacking yet.
Yeah.
And you continue going through.
You're basically backtracking through all the areas that you already went through.
Yeah, but I think they do a really good job of making it feel different.
Yeah, it's got a whole different feel now that the flood are involved.
But what I think is cool, as I was saying, for additions to the flood, this is the first game where you can like see a pretty detailed transformation of when people get infected with the flood, and they show you a guy get, like, a living person get infected with the flood on this level.
Yeah. It's much
pretty
more detailed.
Considering.
It's awesome. That's a moment that every time I play that level, I'm like, oh my god, I wish I could see that in a modern game. Like, see how that would look, you know?
Like 4K.
That would be so
whatever.
cool. And now they have flood pure forms now, which were not in Halo 2. And the pure forms have, like, 3 different forms that they can transform into, and they have different transformations, which is pretty cool too.
Yeah. It changes the way that you have to fight the flood too. It's not all combat forms and infection forms and carriers anymore.
Yeah, but anyways, there's really not much story to this level until the end, because what happens is you're progressing through this level, and honestly, the whole time you're going through, everyone's like basically arguing, like, what do we do? Like, the flood, this is bad. Like, the flood's on Earth is screwed, pretty much.
Eventually, the elites show up too. Like, they drop in pods.
You get halfway through the level, and you finally actually see the shipmaster returns. He makes his return, and you see the massive, like, elite ships show up, like these full, you know, corvettes and cruisers and stuff. And they're like, we'll focus on the flood. You just go and contain the crash site. Yeah, and then as you're getting closer to the crash site, Johnson comes on to the radio, and he's like, Chief, turns out the elites think that Cortana might be on that ship.
Yeah. So
then that caught his attention.
Yeah, that gives Chief even more incentive to go and secure that crash site, and eventually they do get there with the help of the elites and make their way inside of the ship. And
they're so helpful. I love them.
Yeah, they make their way inside the ship and get more Cortana visions and stuff, and Gravemind visions and all that.
This is my favorite flood level, I think.
Yeah, and then you get in there and you find this little, like, containment thing that, like, has Cortana, or you think it's Cortana.
Yeah, so you hit it and she's like, Chief, but then it, like, cuts out or something, and clearly she's, like, damaged or whatever. And that's when the homie shows up.
Yeah, Guilty Spark. He shows up again, the floating eyeball. Comes back and says that he can help fix it and he can repair it and whatever, and he's
actually
working
with the elites. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they evac Chief, the Cortana, and Spark,
Arbiter,
probably any other elites. Yeah, Arbiter.
Yeah. And then the human. This is a great scene. The humans and the elites, like the leaders of both sides, are on the shipmaster's ship.
I love this scene.
Oh, this part is so cool.
Yeah, discussing.
This is like so like a politics type thing, but not boring, which is rare in games.
Yeah, this is one of the few moments of exposition that is well done and good and detailed.
Yeah, it's like this
symbolic almost.
And it's a huge deal because this is literally like this is the end of humanity if things are not done right.
Yeah, there's so much on the line. And there's still like immense hostilities between the elites and the humans. Like they still dislike and hate each other. Like they're working together because
wounds
they have
are fresh.
To. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you want me to explain it? Because I think I probably know more about exactly how it goes. No, you can if you want.
No, just do it.
So basically, you get back into the ship. Spark is trying to fix the thing. Hood's like, well, let us try. They're arguing over who, like, just, it's a little thing, but it shows that they, argue over dumb shit still.
Personality.
Like, let us fix it, we'll fix it. Eventually, Spark fixes it. And it's Cortana. She's like, Chief, the Gravemind's on its way to Earth with an army of flood. They find out it's a message. It's not actually Cortana.
Yeah.
So Shipmaster's like, well, let it play. This shit sounds important,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, basically, she says, Gravemind's coming to Earth, army of flood. Earth is screwed. There's no way to stop it. But they don't know about what's through the portal that the Covenant had just opened. She says, through the portal, there's a way to stop the flood without firing the Halo rings. But we gotta hurry. There's not time to do this.
Yeah.
And then it becomes this big debate where
do they leave Earth?
Shipmaster is like, well, you heard her. Like, this is your only chance. We got to do this. And Shipmaster's like, she could be corrupted by the flood. We don't know. Like, we can't just send everyone.
Say that. Hood says
no,
that.
Hood. That's what I just said.
You said Shipmaster.
Anyways, so after that, damn, you really messed me up there. Now I'm like lost.
Hood says that they want to stay back and defend Earth because it's all that they have left. So if they lose that, then humanity's done, and basically, like, they're going to go extinct. So the final chance of their species is to stay back and fight for what little they have left. Basically, Chief.
Well, then Shipmaster, he's like, "Did you not hear the message? Like, if a Gravemind has targeted you, you're already fucked. Like, if Cortana is wrong about what's through this portal, you have no chance. So you might as well take the chance." And he's like, "A single flood spore could destroy a species, and a Gravemind has targeted you guys. Well, maybe the flood isn't the only thing I should be worried about. You guys just destroyed like all of Africa," because this is where you find out that the elites basically glassed, half the continent of Africa to stop the flood.
Yeah, which if they didn't do, like, the flood would have
maliciously
spread. And
then Shipmaster's like, "Honestly, guys, if Arbiter didn't tell me to stop, I would have just destroyed the entire planet." So you find out that Arbiter actually, he's the one, like, more with the humans than anyone, really.
He's watching out for the humans.
Not saying he's more with the humans than the elites, but, like, he actually gives a fuck. He's like, "Hey, let's not destroy their whole planet."
Yeah. So then
he has human interests on his mind.
Yeah. Eventually they make the decision that Miranda and Chief and Johnson are going to go through the portal with what little forces they have left.
And the elites.
And the elites, yeah, with Shipmaster and Arbiter. And try and find truth and stop him, and then in the process, hopefully find the answer that Cortana said is there.
It's a huge risk, honestly.
Yeah, it's like the final play.
Literally leaving Earth, like, mostly unguarded, just hoping that Cortana was right.
Yeah, it's a huge gamble.
There's a lot of trust.
Yep.
They don't even know where this goes, this portal. Like, they don't know if they're all just going to die going through it.
Yeah, so then...
Not only that, but then there's a whole Covenant army on the other side, too.
Yeah. And so then you get, like, this cool, like, preparation, like, montage scene where everybody's, like, prepping to go into the portal and, like, preparing for the fight that's ahead of them.
And you get to see, like, Marines and elites working together. Like, Arbiter's helping out some Marines and Johnson's helping out some elites.
Yeah, like, Arbiter's carrying human weapons, Johnson's got the elite weapons, and they're all...
Like a reflection of each other.
Yeah, they're looking at each other, and it's a good moment. This is
then, like, the next level... never mind. That's not quite yet, but yeah, you're right. Sorry. Continue.
But, yeah, so you get that scene, and then they finally decide to go through the portal, and they're immediately
in a
hit by
battle
the Covenant and, like, have to start fighting. So Shipmaster has, like, the badass line, is like...
He has the best line of the whole game.
Yeah, he's told, like, we're outnumbered 3-1 or something like that. And he...
yeah.
And then he responds with, "Good, then it's an even fight," or something like along those lines.
You know what's funny, though, is that...
What a cold line.
That's actually true, because, like, I forget which book it is, but in the canon, elites are, like, so much better at, like, commanding ships than the brutes that they actually regularly could do, like, 1-on-3s or 1-on-5s or something like that.
Part of that is because the brutes were never really allowed to be shipmasters or leaders of fleets and anything like that. So, like, now that they are, like, they're just much more inexperienced compared to the elites.
Also, aren't they're also just more aggressive?
Patient.
That too. So
yeah. So
Shipmaster
this is the only unfortunate part about this game. I would love if they did, like, a spin-off space type game for this, but, like, this is like a huge moment in Halo lore, the Battle of the Ark in space here, which is, like, one of the biggest, at least in human and Covenant history. The Forerunner stuff was bigger, obviously, but, like, as far as human Covenant and those species, this is, like, the biggest battle to ever go on in like, space above the Ark.
And this is like a species-defining moment, win or lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and basically, it's like this huge space battle going on, and, like, Johnson, Chief, Arbiter are just trying to, like, make it to the ground without dying, like, with this huge space battle going on, right?
It's probably the hardest part, or one of the hardest parts.
You also see the Ark for the first time, which is massive, like, way bigger than a Halo ring.
It's got an actual planet in the center of it.
Yeah, it's bigger than a planet.
Yeah.
Like
Wild.
10 times bigger than a planet.
Yeah, so basically shipmasters distracting the Covenant in the space battle, and the Marines and small groups of elites.
And Miranda. She has one ship.
And Miranda go
It's
down
enough.
to the surface of the Ark to try and figure out what Truth is doing and to find Cortana's solution. So they get down there, you go through, you get like your sniper level.
You get that
every
cool
Halo has.
cutscene, though, of them flying down and like just shit blowing up all around them in this massive space battle as they're trying to get to the ground.
This was a cool.
Yeah, that is a
cutscene.
cool one. But eventually they do make it. You get out of your Pelican and you're dropped like right on the front lines.
And you get a cool line from a random Marine that is a foreshadowing moment.
What is that?
He's like, hey, look, up in the sky, is that? And then they're like, shut up, pay attention, or something like that to him. But what he's looking at is you can see the Milky Way in the distance, which later in the level is revealed.
Yeah.
They're like, oh shit, we're not in our galaxy.
Oh yeah, that is a cool moment.
It's a cool foreshadowing thing from just a random Marine.
Yeah, that is a good
I bet if you
storytelling.
look at it too, it would look so different than how it would look on Earth.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know. I've never been out of the
I
Milky
don't know.
Way.
There was a different thought, but I didn't express it right.
Yeah.
Move on.
But also, just before we get into the level, like just looking around at the beginning of the arc and like seeing the massive, like, yes, again, the skybox, but not only the skybox, just the distance. All these
Yeah,
massive
the
Forerunner structures.
scale
the
and
sheer
things.
scale of everything is cool.
Yeah, it's huge. And so move through the level, you start off with like a sniper section, you're taking out Covenant outposts and moving your way through.
One thing I want to make a slight comment on.
Yeah.
Since these levels are so big, one thing that we're not really making comments on is that there's not really load times once you're in the level.
They hide them well. They're
do.
there. You will see the text pop up, but
You
you don't
stutter.
really feel it.
You'll like stutter, but then like it's a whatever moment.
Yeah.
Versus
So quick,
getting
like, yeah.
drawn out of like the moment and getting put like a loading screen.
Yeah, and for 2007, like
It's insanely impressive.
even
Yeah,
compared
definitely.
to freaking Starfield, like there's no stop and load. Like you maybe get 1 second of a frame drop, it says loading, and then you keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
And
like
they're
walk down a
usually
long
hidden well.
hallway, and that's when they'll load levels and stuff, but you don't feel that because you're still moving.
yeah, or they'll transition you from an inside section to an outside section. Like something like that. Or a door will take
An elevator ride
Yeah.
with the dialogue and
The
or whatever.
elevator.
It's really nice.
Yeah. Really good at hiding the loading screens. But anyways, back you were saying sniper sections.
Yeah, so you do that, and then eventually, I think you're told again, like, to take out anti-air stuff so that the Miranda can come down and like drop off some reinforcements because they found
Well, what
they need to
happened
get to
was
the cartographer of this like installation of the Ark.
what actually happened was she was getting absolutely destroyed because human ships cannot. One single human ship cannot compete in a battle against these huge Covenant ships. You know, it's the brutes versus the elites. And she's getting fucking destroyed up there. She's like, Chief, I need somewhere to come down for a while and make repairs, and I'll drop you some
I
shit
need to
off.
hide.
Yeah. So you work your way through. You get do you get a warthog in this part, or did ours just blow
You
up?
get prowlers.
Oh yeah, that's right. You do get some prowlers.
Introduction of the prowler. Basically, honestly, prowler shit looks cool, but it's not effective.
Yeah. And so you take out some wraiths, some ghosts, Covenant outposts, a bunch of anti-air wraiths, and then you get another cool kind of like section or like scene where Miranda brings down her. Is it the Forward Unto Dawn? I think it is.
Yeah, it is. But here's a cool thing about this level I just wanted to mention real quick. This is one of those Halo levels where it's similar to Halo from Halo 1, second level, or Silent Cartographer, or what's the Halo 2 one? There might not be one in Halo 2, but definitely Silent Cartographer and Halo, where the level has objectives that you can do in whatever order.
Oh
So
yeah,
like
right.
how in
it's
Silent
this
Cartographer,
section,
you
yeah.
can go to the map room. It's locked. Oh, now we need to go to the control room. Like here, it actually is almost the same thing. You can like continue towards the like forward place, but it's locked, and then they send you somewhere else, or you can go this other way. Like there's multiple paths you can do in different orders. Like you end up doing
Yeah.
everything,
There's
but
more
you get
choice.
to pick.
Yeah, it's a good way of injecting a little bit of player choice into how it all goes down. But Miranda drops off some scorpions.
Well, you're saying she flies in. It's awesome, though.
Yeah, she flies in and like everything gets blown away. All like the carcasses of the wraiths and all the vehicles you've destroyed just fly away. So that's
cool too. Because
we rode on them, didn't we?
Is that rated for atmosphere? Guess we're gonna find out. And it comes in and just absolutely sends everything flying. It's awesome.
Didn't we jump on some debris?
Yeah,
and get flung into a wall.
It's always fun.
Yeah. So then you get your scorpion section where, like you said, Sebastian, you get the choice to go to the control room or the cartographer. And it doesn't really matter what way you do it. You end up doing everything anyway. Walk us through that part. I don't really remember exactly how it all unfolds.
Well, you head back to that door that you could have gone to earlier if you didn't come to help Miranda right away. And at that point now, because once you help Miranda, Sparks with you. So now that he's with you, he can open that door that you couldn't get through earlier. So you take your tank back and you absolutely destroy shit. It's awesome. You get to blow up a phantom for the first time, and it is one of the best effects in the freaking series. Similar. It
sounds awesome.
This is something we didn't mention when we got at that part, but the scarab blowing up effect is awesome.
Oh yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, and you have to like run away so you don't get caught up in the huge explosion.
Yeah, it's awesome. And
you feel like you're in a movie.
Yeah, and like killing a phantom is like a similar, like, it seems like this, it makes them seem like these Covenant vehicles are these massive like power devices. So like when they blow up, it's badass to see.
It's like reminiscent of like blowing up the Death Star.
Yeah,
almost, honestly.
Yeah. Kinda.
But you get to blow up a phantom. It looks awesome. You continue your tank. You're just absolutely destroying ghosts and choppers and wraiths. 2 more phantoms. It's awesome. It's so good. And you're like, wow, this game's... You're like, man, it's getting really good again. Like, this is like the storm level's good. This is freaking really good.
Yeah.
You get to that door. You have to get out of your tank, unfortunately. And you're also being followed, though, by like 2 or 3 Marines and tanks, like 3 warthogs, mongoose. Like you have a huge army with you. Like it's a big battle.
Yeah,
and they're like, Chief, go up top.
Structure.
Yeah, go up top, go through the structure. Let us like activate the bridges and doors. Let us through so we can get our tanks and warthogs and mongoose or whatever through. So you walk through, and this is kind of probably honestly just a hidden loading area because nothing happens in there.
Yeah, it's not really anything going on.
You go in there, you open some doors, and then you come out and you're like, damn, this level peaked so hard, that was awesome. And then they're like, well, guess what? It's gonna get better.
It ain't over.
Yeah.
So then you come out the door, you see your freaking 6 tanks, then you see like 5 wraiths pull up, 2 phantoms, a bunch of ghosts and choppers, and you're like, holy shit, this is gonna be a big battle. And then a scarab leg steps down right in front of you, and you're like, no way.
Yeah, and it makes its way down to like the little circular section at the bottom.
It's a boss reveal.
Yeah, it really is. And so now you have to fight your way down like the hill, destroy all the wraiths and all the Covenant forces just to get into another massive fight with that scarab.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a huge battle. Like there's literally like 4 or 5 wraiths, 4 or 5 tanks, like 5 ghosts, a bunch of brutes.
Warthogs everywhere.
Choppers, warthogs, mongoose. And then this is different than the last scarab fight though, because the last one you cleared shit out and then the scarab came, but this time it's all at the same time. So you're like fighting these things, but the scarab's also like lasering you down, and it's like you gotta be careful of his laser at the same time.
Yeah. And again, they give you a different way to get on it. Like there's a conveniently placed ramp like that you can jump onto it with, and
there's a grav lift in there that you can grab to like grav lift yourself into the back of it or something.
Yeah, there's different ways to do it. And again, but it all ends the same. You eventually take it down and move into another structure.
They go, good job, Spartan. I saw that one from orbit.
Yeah. And so move through this structure and start to I think this is where are you moving? You're going towards the map room now, aren't you? At this point?
Yeah.
So yeah, going through that. Nothing really crazy, just there's like an attempted points of stealth where there's like some sleeping Covenant, but it very rarely works.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an inside section. You fight some things.
Yeah, it mixes it up a little bit, and you eventually
you get to the end. Then there's an interesting part at the end.
Yeah,
well, this is later, but there's a cutscene first.
Okay, what? I don't remember the cutscene.
So, like, you fight your way through, you get to the map, you open the map, and you're, like, looking at the map, and that's when they find out, even though you could have found out earlier, they're like, oh, we're not in our galaxy.
Yeah.
So that's when, like, Chief and Arbiter, Johnson, Spark, Miranda, everyone finds out they're not in their own galaxy. They look through the map. Spark sees something. This is some more foreshadowing. And he goes, oh. And he like thought of something, but he didn't say something. So you're like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you pretty much find out that from this map here, that for Truth to fire the rings, there's like these 3 different, that where Truth is firing the rings from has this shield that he's put around himself. And that to deactivate that shield, there's these 3 different towers that need to be shut down for them to then go in.
Yeah, and Truth is still missing one key piece to be able to fire the rings. He needs a human. Like, only a human can activate it, so that's also a problem.
Yeah, but either way, he's locked in the shield. We can't get in. We need to take out these 3 towers first, is what we've learned.
Yep.
Then we continue through the level because Chief needs to get picked up. He can't just stay here.
Yeah.
So you work your way down to like this, I don't know what just an open area that a Pelican can come in for Johnson to come pick you up. And you get to this cool section here with the brutes. Do you remember it?
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
You're talking about the one with the chieftain?
Yeah, how they they challenge you.
This part's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, this is a good one.
I think that he talks about Tartarus, too, a little bit. Sometimes. It's like a random dialogue. Sometimes he'll mention Tartarus.
Yeah, like, the lore behind it is that he is the new Tartarus. Like, he's supposed to be the new chieftain of the brutes, basically. And, if you go down there, he's surrounded by brutes. There's like 7 or 8 of them. And he's standing in the middle, and you're allowed to go in there and challenge him to a fight, like one-on-one. The rest of the brutes won't engage with you as long as you go down there.
Mono.
Yeah, by yourself, and you can actually 1v1 this chieftain, which is a pretty cool little addition. Or you can just go in there and start shooting him and shoot everybody, and it's a massive fight.
Yeah, but you should not do that. It's easier to just 1v1 the chieftain, then fight everyone.
Yeah, you end up killing them all anyway. But yeah, that is a cool little moment.
Then Johnson comes and picks you up. As he's picking you up, a bunch of sentinels start flying. They're like, oh shit, let's shoot him. And Spark's like, no, wait, they're doing something. I mean, I don't know what they're doing because this is not my installation, but they're not trying to hurt us.
Yeah. And so...
But now you guys have the new plan. They formulate together, and the new plan is Johnson and his squad of Marines will go for 1 tower. Chief and his squad of Marines will go for 1 tower. Arbiter and the elites will go for another tower.
Yep. So you split into 3 teams. This is an epic intro level. I love this one. It's probably this is probably my favorite level in the series.
So you've had now at this point the storm where you're like, it can't get better than this. Then you have the arc. You're like, holy shit, it got better. That was amazing. Then you get to this level, the Covenant. It gets better again.
Yeah, it's still building.
I would say that it is popular opinion amongst the Halo community. Like, the majority of people will say this is the best level in the series, the Covenant.
It's my favorite in the series, so I guess I'm in the majority. Yeah.
It's a pretty solid level, I'm not going to lie.
It has everything. If you were to say what is in Halo, the Covenant has everything.
Yeah, it really does. So let's get into that. You're dropped off right on the front lines again, like always, in a super cool entry with, like, you're riding in on Pelicans. One of them gets shot down, crashes into yours. And
you get to see this cool thing, too, where it's the first time you get to see it, where, like, as you're flying in, Miranda's explaining what I told you about. Deal, go for this tower, this tower, this tower, whatever. So you see the 3 Pelicans, and then 2 Phantoms pull up behind them, and you see, like, the Pelicans flying with the Phantoms, and it's so cool looking.
Yeah, those are the elites, obviously. And their Phantoms are a different color. They're green. They're not the Covenant purple.
They're the UNSC green now.
Yeah.
Nice.
A nice touch. And so you're dropped off on the beach, and you're basically storming the beach with you. Chief has a Spartan laser, so if you're playing as Chief, you do get that, which is cool.
First introduction of it, I think.
Yeah, there's shade turrets set up, brute chieftains with fuel rod guns and jackals and grunts all over the place. So clear the beach.
The anti-air raid that shot you down in the cutscene is there.
Yeah, clear the beach, take out the anti-air. The pelicans come in and drop off some like warthog and some mongooses or something like that, and you make your way up towards the tower, which is basically what it is. You get to another section where you got to fight some more Covenant vehicles, prowlers. I think there might be a wraith there. I can't remember. And
there is
more turrets.
What's cool is that you, like I said, this level has everything. You have the beach storming, like Sonic Cartographer. Then you have that warthog section, like you said. Continue.
Yeah. So then you make it to the tower, fight your way inside, clear out the Covenant. There's not really, it's nothing crazy to this. Like,
yeah, it's your
exactly
fun.
It
It's your fun on foot section, though.
Yeah, go up the elevator, take out the chieftain, deactivate the tower. Basically, is how it goes.
So you deactivate yours, and she's like, "All right, so let's see everyone else. The elite should be soon." Then you see the elite's tower shut off, and she's like, "All right, it's all up to Johnson's team now. Get back outside." So you get back outside to go and get ready to attack the main citadel, because they're like, Johnson should be finishing soon.
Yeah.
And, you take your Warthog back to the beach, and then you get the air section. Another, great section of this level.
Part's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Even though I died instantly.
Hornets. Yeah.
I got to have fun, at least.
Yeah. They give you some Hornets, and you start your first, air section of the game, and pilot the Hornet to the next. Well, you find out over the radio that Johnson was unable to take the tower, and he was actually captured by the brute.
Who would have thought? Johnson captured?
Yeah.
No.
So the elites and Chief then regroup to go after Johnson's tower together.
Yeah. Fight through the air, take out Banshees, take out Phantoms, reach Johnson's tower.
Anti-air raids.
Yep. Reach Johnson's
and
tower.
Johnson's tower is fucking way more guarded than yours was. They got
he was
2
set up
raids,
to fail.
Yeah, they're like, let's send our weakest guy to the most stacked tower.
Yeah.
It's 50 brutes, 2 wraiths, 2 shade turrets, hunters, drones.
Yeah, they got everything there. But eventually,
poor guy.
Yeah, eventually you're able to make it through. You land. Same thing as last time. Make your way up the tower, go up the elevator, kill the chieftain, deactivate it again. Now, all 3 towers have been deactivated.
They're like, all 3 are down. Shipmaster, move into position, because the plan is he's just going to fucking annihilate the citadel. Just blow that thing up. So he's flying over it, and then, oh, this is so badass. Someone else say it. I just want to hype over it in silence.
Yeah, so Shipmaster moves his ship into position, like you said, and then the massive reveal of the High Charity slips into the Ark and appears.
He goes, by the gods.
Yeah, and so pieces of it break off.
Everyone's so scared. It's awesome.
Yeah, pieces of it break off, and Chief and Arbiter are just watching. And a part of it
they're on foot. What are they going to do?
Yeah, part of it busts right through the Shipmaster's ship and basically grounds it.
He crashes almost.
Yeah, it's forced to land, and it's taken out of
commission. Then you hear Miranda
on
the radio. She's like, Shipmaster, status. He goes, weapon systems offline. Significant damage.
Yeah. And
so
now
then it falls to Chief and Arbiter.
Yeah. And then another flood, freaking asteroid flies through the window that you're looking out, and now the flood are involved, and you have to fight your way out of the tower.
You can't catch a break.
Yeah, against the flood of all things. So,
and another god tier section that I've always said in every single Halo game that I love. Now you're getting that part where it's the multiple factions fighting each other. So now there's 3 factions involved in this now.
Yeah, it's intense. You eventually get
really
out of the
4,
tower.
I guess.
You're given another tank. And you make your way towards the citadel.
They're like, Chief, you're going to have to storm the citadel. And you're like, holy shit, there's more to this level that's already been god tier.
Yeah. So
you get the tank section now. Yeah. What is normally the best level of every Halo game, honestly, the tank section.
Yeah, so make your way through the tank section. It's pretty linear, nothing too crazy. Take out some wraiths, turrets, Covenant, and Flood that are fighting each other.
You take out a lot of shit. That tank section's long.
Yeah, it's a long like pathway where you're just engagement after
storming
engagement.
the Citadel.
Yeah,
then you get to the doorstep of the Citadel.
Yeah, you get there.
They're like, we're there. We finally, after this huge battle, dozens of wraiths and tons of phantoms, and obviously because the prophet's in there, the entirety of the Covenant forces are here. This is the last. Like, this is the rest of the Covenant on this mission right now. This is the rest of everyone. Like, everyone who is involved in these battles is here right now.
Yeah. And so then right as you're about to, like, start your way up to the Citadel, not one, but 2 scarabs drop down onto the battlefield. And...
No.
And then you literally just, like, smile and you're like, this is peak gaming. Like...
You smile and a tear rolls down your cheek and you're like, I found happiness.
That's when you realize you're like, we'll never reach these heights again. Like, I'm not even just saying for this game, but like, gaming has, no one does this anymore. This is insane.
Yeah, it is pretty freaking crazy. And it's cool. The game gives you like different options, like a couple more Hornets fly in. You can take them if you want.
Too.
You can keep the tank if you want, or you can go down and get a warthog, a mongoose. You could steal a ghost, like tons of options.
Every Halo player knows the most fun way to take down a scarab is to jump some kind of vehicle off a ramp onto it.
Yeah. And so you eventually find your way however you choose to.
Now you're in another huge battle, though, because
there's banshees.
Basically just an empty field with 2 big-ass rams, 2 big-ass scarabs, a ton of banshees.
And the scarabs are freaking
phantoms,
both shooting you at the same time.
Yeah, just when you thought one big battle was over, you get into another big battle.
Like, I hate to sound like I'm, overly loving this, but the Covenant is almost like a whole Halo game on its own. Like, every Halo has, that's the tank level, that's the flying level, that's the warthog level, that's the on the feet inside level, that's the forerunner level,
the big
that's the beach level. They're all here.
Yeah, it's all there. And so however you choose to do it, you take out the 2 scarabs and you are able to make your way into the Citadel.
And then like a bunch of other things like ghosts,
all that
prowlers
stuff.
And stuff.
But regardless, you make your way to the stairway.
Such a huge war though. It like really makes you feel like you're in a war at that moment.
Yeah. So you make your way up the stairway, and
Spark's like, hurry, we don't have much time.
Yeah, Spark activates the bridge, and you get inside. And I think you get the cutscene of Ruth and Johnson, right?
Yeah. Well, first Miranda calls you on like the comms as you're going up the elevator. She's like, Chief, how close are you? He's like, not close enough. And then it shows Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson's been captured. They are
he's
torturing him.
He's got like a black guy. He's bleeding all over. He doesn't even have his hat on.
Dude's in rough shape.
Yeah, they're torturing him, trying to force him to activate the arc and in turn activate the rings. And
you actually see that Johnson's trying to piss them off.
Yeah, he's trying to piss them off so that they kill him.
He's punching them and stuff, isn't he?
Yeah, well, because he knows the brutes, right? Johnson is literally trying to get them to kill him because he knows they need him.
Yeah. So he's doing everything he can to try and get them to mess up. Truth is able to calm them down.
Yeah, he's like, you imbeciles. He wants you to kill them.
Yeah. And at the last second, Miranda busts in. Is that right? That happens before,
yeah, she
right?
flies the pelican through the thing.
What a badass.
Just shoots a couple brutes, shields down. She doesn't even kill anything. And then Johnson, obviously scared, because Johnson, he was close with her father. He doesn't want her to die. He cares about her. But he's like, this is the last stand of everything. So he looks at her. And Truth is like, hey, you can't kill them all. Like, you're doomed here, both of you. Then Johnson's... Well, then Miranda, like, looks at her gun, and she's like, you're right. And then she looks at Johnson. This is sad, honestly, and Johnson's like, yep, first me and then you. Like, he wants her to kill him and then herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's about to do it.
She would have done it.
Hesitates for a second, and she's about to, and then right before she can, Truth shoots her in the back with a spiker.
And then he does like the Obi-Wan, so uncivilized, like the way he's holding the gun.
Drops the gun. He does.
Holding it with 2 fingers.
Yeah. And Johnson is devastated. Everyone's devastated, and they force him to activate the arc, and the rings begin to power up, and they're about to fire. And then you transition back to Chief and the Arbiter. They're literally
they
Chief
just
is
reached the
jumping
top
up
of the
elevator. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool how he jumps up like that. Small thing, but it like adds to it, you know?
Yeah, like you can tell like there's some urgency here. And so he does that, and they're basically out of time, and then they're about to try and like just, I guess, make their way down there for the heck of it.
Well, they don't know.
Yeah. And so right before that, the Flood show up again, but in like massive
this part's
numbers.
Pretty cool.
And the Grave
And
Mind
then
is
Chief
talking
and
through
Arbiter
them.
pull their freaking weapons out.
Yeah, they're about to like take them down together. And the Flood basically says like all 3 of us need to work together right now to stop this one enemy, and then
none of us want the rings to fire.
This is so cool because like
it adds a layer to the Flood.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, but I think before this moment, the Flood could be considered zombies, really, like no different from zombies. But this shows that they're like, you know, they're actually like more than just a brainless, mindless creature or something. Even though there are other moments that have shown that too, but this is like the one that I feel like is the biggest.
They have a sense of self-preservation.
Yeah.
Well, because they know like we literally can't stop the rings. Like you need a human to do it, so they're like, we'll just get him to do it.
Yeah, it's pretty smart. Ugh.
And then you get like what is honestly probably the biggest twist of the game. Like you get a level fighting with the Flood as your team.
Yeah, and there's so many of them. Like you just fly through that section, like completely destroy the Covenant that are guarding that like runway.
And you know what else is cool? Also shown in gameplay how smart they are. They are the only enemies where no matter how many of them you kill, they will not turn on you because they're like, we need him, just let him do what he wants.
Yeah. And so eventually with the help with the help of the Flood, you make it to the end of the Citadel, and
you see Johnson holding Miranda's dead body.
Yeah. And you see that Truth is laying on the ground, and he's actually been affected partially by the Flood. I think Chief deactivates him right then and there, doesn't he?
Yeah, Chief goes right to the deactivating, and then Arbiter goes over to the Prophet and talks to him.
Yeah, Arbiter grabs him by the neck, and so Chief deactivates the Ark, and in turn deactivates the rings.
Just in time.
Yeah, just in time. And
you know what's so cool about this? Like, this could have been like the biggest disappointment of the series if they had Chief handle this instead of Arbiter.
Yeah, and Arbiter gets his moment with Truth. Truth gives his little
that's true.
His little speech or whatever it is that he says. I really don't even remember what he says actually.
He's basically saying like he'll become a god, like you can't stop me. Then as Chief shuts it down, he's like, no.
Yeah, and then Arbiter puts an energy sword right through his chest.
He goes, I'm Truth, the voice of the Covenant. And then Arbiter goes, and that's why you must be silenced.
Yeah, and stabs him through the chest and kills him and lets out a awesome Arbiter scream.
It's... God, and that's the end of the Covenant. That's why the level's called the Covenant. It really is like such a fit.
The level doesn't end there.
No, I said that's the end of the Covenant, not the level, the Covenant.
Oh, okay.
But the Covenant...
as we know them, we know the Covenant as a faction, that's basically the end of them. Their leadership is gone, and their forces have been pretty much destroyed.
So then you've now shut down the rings, and then Arbiter had his awesome moment, and then the Gravemind starts laughing at you. They're like, nice. Our turn.
Yeah. and so now you have
Everyone hops on to the Pelican.
Yeah, Johnson starts piloting the Pelican, you hop on, and Chief and Arbiter like grabbing onto each other's legs and hanging on to the edge, and the Gravemind knocks them off, and they're forced to be left behind. And
I would say this is the most iconic image from Halo ever.
Yeah, the Arbiter and the Chief get their awesome back-to-back moment. Arbiter with his sword, Chief with his assault rifle.
With like grave mind tentacles coming around them, and Arbiter goes, "We trade one enemy for another."
Yeah, they do the little nod. Like that's really all they ever do is nod at each other. And so then you're
fight the flood on your way out of the bridge area you just did.
Backtrack across the bridge, just fighting the flood this time, and eventually get back to that elevator, and you jump down this like chute and get to safety, and Chief gets like a vision of Cortana. I don't know if that's
I'll explain it real quick because we haven't really gone over it. Once you get to the Ark, you can start finding these terminals, which are very confusing, honestly, but the main summary of them is that it's Mendicant Bias trying to help Chief. And that's what those like visions of Cortana are. This section is Mendicant Bias trying to help Chief find like this area.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mendicant Bias is a whole other like character, like that's would require a lot of
It's an extended lore thing, but it's kind of complicated. It's really like it's a good lore thing for people who know the lore, but it's not so much where it's like you don't know what's going on. I think it's a good balance.
Yeah.
But anyways, Chief and Arbiter find the area you were saying. Continue.
Yeah, and then you find out, or Chief finds out that that the Halo ring that he destroyed in the original Halo, Combat Evolved, is being rebuilt here on the Ark.
Also a great like just sense of scale and like majesty of like the Forerunner devices when that ring is coming out.
Yeah. And Spark tells Chief that it's almost ready to fire, and that
at first Chief's like, "Did you know?" And you're like, "What the hell? Who's he talking to?" Because you don't see Spark yet, and then Spark comes out. He's like, "I had my theories." That's what he had seen on the mission, the Ark, where he's like, "Oh, interesting." Yeah. He wasn't sure, but he thought maybe there would be a replacement then.
Yeah. So that's revealed, and then
Spark goes, "What will you do?" And he goes, "Yeah, fire it," like you said.
And Spark's like, "Perfect."
Mm-hmm. Glad we're in agreement.
Yeah.
He flies off to make the
he flies off, and Arbiter's like, "How will you fire it?" And then Chief looks over at High Charity, and for the homies that have played the games, they realize Cortana's there. She still has the index from Halo 1. That's how you fire it.
Oh, yeah, because he was saying it was going to take time to fabricate a new one. Like 2 hours, or like way too long or something, right?
Yeah. And so he decides he's going to go to High Charity and get Cortana for her index, and because he promised that he would. And so that transitions to the next level. Probably a lot of people say is one of the worst ones in the game.
I think in terms of gameplay, it's average, but in terms of story, it's one of the top.
Yeah, I do like the story beats to this one.
I'd agree.
So we'll fly through this one kind of quick, I guess. Like
you fight your way through High Charity.
Part's the end, yeah. Basically, you and the Arbiter land in High Charity.
Wrong. What actually happens is Chief goes to High Charity on his own, while the Arbiter goes to help out Shipmaster because his ship is infested with flood.
Yeah.
But what's cool when you go to High Charity is to like just see what's become of it now, because it is absolutely infested. Like it doesn't even look like the same place.
Yeah, it's like an alien planet. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so
you fight your way through it. It's insane. Like you definitely get a feeling of being overwhelmed by the flood there, which I guess it's why people don't like it. But I think that's the feeling you want in somewhere that is like High Charity is at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. And so fight your way through, and you finally get to Cortana. Chief and her, Chief, like whatever the heck she's in. I don't even know what she's in.
You're also being taunted by the grave mine throughout this whole level.
Yeah. And so Chief finally reaches her, releases her from whatever's like holding her, and puts her back in his head. And they have like that special moment between the two of them where...
And she says the line from Halo 1. She says, "There's two of us in here now."
Yeah, they have their moment. That's another iconic shot and scene, is the two of them. Yeah, when Chief leaning over on that...
When she stands up.
Pedestal, yeah. That's a good moment. And then
It's honestly like really nice to have her. I don't like it. Just feels like cool to have Cortana again, like there.
Yeah,
like as you're playing.
Yeah, her dialogue like adds to the whole thing.
Yeah, because she's with you, all of Halo 1 and 2, and she's with you not until the second to last level of Halo 3.
Yeah, it's very refreshing to get her back. And so she says, like, you can overload High Charity's reactors and destroy the entire ship. And so that's the plan. You overload the reactors, and you are making your way out, and at the very last second, Arbiter shows up with a flamethrower.
Yeah, he couldn't leave you on your own. He just had to finish his thing, and then it's cool too because Cortana, like her voice line, she's like, "Who would be crazy enough to come in here?"
Yeah, and so Arbiter helps you out. You commandeer a Pelican that's on the on High Charity, and you escape.
Yeah, man, that's
got a blast.
Awesome. It's so good.
Yeah,
so good.
And then that takes us to the final level.
The final level. And what's cool is, like, not technically, but also kind of, like, it ends where it starts, the first Halo ring.
Yeah, it comes full circle.
Literally, yeah.
Yep.
And the ring is a circle.
Yeah.
Okay, that was dumb.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
But, yeah, so, and it's cool, like, seeing Cortana, like, talk to Johnson again. He's like, good to have you back, man.
Yep. Good to be back, Sergeant Major.
And then she just starts bossing him around right away too. He's like, I'll land my frigate as close to the control room as I can. She goes, safe is better than close.
Yeah. And so Chief, Arbiter, and Cortana crash their Pelican into the side of a snowbank.
Yeah. Because the idea is they light this ring, deal with the flood, since it's not in their galaxy, won't kill anyone. Then we all go back through the portal, go home. That's what Chief says. Because Cortana's like, what will you do after you? He's like, we'll go through the portal.
Yeah, pretty badass moment. So,
and what I think is cool about this, sorry to interrupt you again, but it's like the only people that go on this last mission is Chief, Arbiter, Johnson, and Cortana. Like, I think it just shows
it's the core crew.
And honestly, the elites didn't want Arbiter to go. He's like, they're like, well, you, as everyone's leaving, because they send everyone back through the portal, Shipmaster's like, won't you come with us, brother? And which is another cool moment, because like the difference they have to Arbiter now compared to, the beginning of Halo 2 where they didn't care about him at all, and now they want him with them.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, this is our fight. I want to finish it. Like, he doesn't want to leave them behind.
Yeah. And so...
Cool stuff.
Yep. So you make your way to the... What's the name of that building? Like, where you fire it from?
The control room.
Yeah, so you make your way to the control room in the snowy, like, area.
Another cool thing is that, like, obviously better graphics, but it is straight out of Halo 1, the environments.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. And they look much better. They're more modern. So you make your way up.
It is the same ring.
Yeah, you fight your way up to the control room, like going level by level, fighting the flood.
It's pretty hard, too.
Yeah, it is a tough fight. And then you eventually make it to the top, and you clear out the flood. Johnson meets you at the top, and you eventually get inside. And then that's when kind of like everything goes crazy. You get to that cutscene where Chief's about to fire the ring. Well, actually, Johnson is the one that's about to fire the ring.
Yeah, and Spark's like, we should be ready in just a few more days. It's like, we don't have a few more days, but a premature firing will destroy the Ark. Deal with it.
Yeah. And then Spark loses his freaking mind. And he goes crazy and he shoots Johnson in the face with his laser cannon eye. I don't know.
What a
sentinel beam.
Yeah, and so he does that and he mortally wounds Johnson and starts going crazy, like ranting and screaming.
The cutscene is kind of funny. Like, I know it's serious, but it's just funny when Arbiter walks around the corner and just gets blasted away.
Oh, yeah. Arbiter's like, what's going on in here? And then Spark just blasts him through the door and he's just gone.
Well, the door shuts after that, so he actually can't in the lore, he's not in that fight because he got locked out.
Yeah. So then you have to fight Spark, and Johnson gives you his Spartan laser while he's laying there on the ground dying. Basically tells you kick his ass. And so a couple Spartan laser
Classic
shots.
Johnson.
A couple Spartan laser shots later, and Spark is dead. You kill him. And Chief has a little moment with Johnson saying he's going to get him out of here. Johnson's like, no. And he tells him to take care of Cortana. He gives you
Cortana, yeah, because he had her. He's like, don't ever let her go. And then he immediately betrays that in the next game, lets her go, and then does it again in Halo 5 and does it again in Halo Infinite, making everything he told Johnson a complete lie.
Okay. Yeah. And so the ring is activated, and now it's not ready to be fired, so it's destroying itself, and it's going to, in the process, destroy itself and the Flood, which is the plan. So now Arbiter and Chief and Cortana have to make their way to Johnson's frigate and try to escape. And then that sets off a whole event where you are fighting your way out, and you get
it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
The Covenant is the best level, but the last section of this level is probably the best section of any level.
Yeah, and so you get to a Warthog, and you have your epic Warthog run, kind of like Combat Evolved to
but
Johnson's
actually
frigate.
Good.
Yeah, it's much better. The world is falling apart behind you. Like, you're pressed for time, because if you're too slow, you'll fall off the map. And,
it's cool because it's not like Halo 1's where it's a timer and then you just lose when the timer goes out. It's like things are actually being destroyed and you just die. It's like, what is awesome about it is that, like, it feel like when you play this level, it really does feel like this is what they wanted to do in Halo 1, but technology just wasn't at that point yet. So when they came back around, they were able to finally do it.
Yeah, and they did it the way that they wanted to. And
that's kind of nice considering it's their last.
I mean, it
was supposed to be.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be.
I mean, chronologically speaking.
Yes.
Yeah. And
it was going to conclude the story. It's a nice homage.
Yeah. And so you have
it's
the epic Warthog run.
So
Sentinels
good.
and Flood are fighting, and the Sentinels are shooting you, and Flood are getting in your way, and all that stuff.
The best music in the series starts playing.
Yeah, it's super epic. But eventually you make it to the ship, and you get an awesome jump inside. Then it cuts to the final cutscene. And
that was close, and then a tank rolls into Arbiter.
Yeah, tank rolls into Arbiter. Chief
looks at him to see if he's okay. They do the nod.
They exchange a nod. So Arbiter goes to I guess the bridge of the ship.
Yeah, he goes to the bridge, and Chief just goes to a console right there to put Cortana into it, so she can start the takeoff thing since the bridge is far. So she starts it, but Arbiter's gonna fly it once he gets to the bridge.
Yeah. So Cortana gets the engines revving. Well,
Chief almost flies out the back.
Yeah, Chief gets hit by the tank and almost flies out the back of the ship.
She goes, "Yo, oh my god!" Just because I forgot to mention it though, this last level, the skybox is so awesome because you can see the arc above you.
Yeah, that is cool. That is a good skybox. And so,
that is, yeah.
The ring is firing. Arbiter opens a slip space portal.
Well, it's the portal that was there from Earth.
Oh yeah. He gets through the portal.
But the ring firing starts to make it collapse.
Yeah. And then the portal collapses just as they get through. And then you transition to...
Well, there's also this iconic scene with Chief and Cortana in the back. She's like, what if we don't make it? You know the one?
Yeah.
He goes, we'll make it. She goes, well, it's been an honor serving with you. And this is the first time in the games you get to hear his name.
Yeah, she says his name, John.
Then there's just a bright-ass light.
Yeah. And then it transitions to half of the ship falling into the ocean near Africa, I assume.
I don't know. Somewhere.
It's got to be Africa because that's where the portal was, so.
That would add up, yeah.
Yeah, so half of the ship flies into the ocean. The UNSC and the humans track it down and arrive there to get the survivors, and out pops Arbiter. So Arbiter survived. There's no sign of Chief. And then we transition to a type of memorial / funeral for the fallen soldiers and people that fought in the Covenant War.
It's got Miranda, Johnson, and then it's like Arbiter and Lord Hood talking to each other while standing next to it. They're
Great
talking
moment.
about Chief.
Yeah, this is a good moment. Hood basically says, thanks for standing by him. He's like, I know our species have our differences and we may never be able to truly be allies, but appreciate your loyalty to him. And
he says, hard to believe he's gone. But Arbiter doesn't actually believe it.
yeah, Arbiter goes, he says that one line, is like, were it so easy, or something like that. And they shake hands.
They have like his number carved
moment.
into the thing.
Yeah, and then 117 is carved into the wing. And then Arbiter goes off to his ship. Shipmaster asks him where to go, and Arbiter says, let's go home.
He also says this cool line. He's like, I'd like to see our world just to know it's safe. And Arbiter's like, I forget the exact words, but he basically says it is because we've made it, so.
Yeah, that is another good line. There's a lot of great lines in this game.
Yeah, props to the writers.
Yeah.
So Arbiter basically rules the elites now, and they all respect him. So his arc is crazy.
I mean, it's
honestly,
well earned.
like where he came from to where he got to.
Yeah. And then transition again.
This is actually the legendary ending, though. So if you didn't beat it on legendary, you wouldn't know this.
Yeah. So you transition back to the end, and it's the back half of the ship. And I forget who starts the conversation. Either Cortana, like, trying to wake up Chief.
Yeah, she goes, Chief?
And he asks, what happened? And she basically tells him the portal collapsed. Yeah. Half of us made it.
Went through. Some of us did.
Some of us did. Whatever.
It cuts and it shows, like, half the dawn.
Yeah. And Chief's kind of, like, in 0G, making his way through the ship. And I don't remember exactly how it goes, but
she has like some good lines. She's like, the truth, the covenant, the flood, it's finished. The same thing she says at the end of Halo 1, and then Chief goes, I think it's just getting started. But then he goes, it's finished.
Yeah, great line. Great full circle
Funny
moment.
how he's the one saying it now.
Yeah, well, his whole thing was
finishing
finishing
all
the
the
fight.
ends so nicely.
Yeah,
that was the big advertisement of Halo 3 was finish the fight.
Yeah, and now Chief said it. It's finished.
Then he lays down in a pod, and she goes, I'll lay down a beacon, but it'll be a while before anyone reaches us. Years.
Yeah. And Chief gives her the line.
And he was like, wake me if something happens or something.
Says, wake me if you need me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. That was close enough.
Then she goes, I'll miss you.
And he doesn't say anything.
She
says, I'll miss you, and then he says, wake me if you need me.
Yeah. And then that's how the game ends.
And then they shows them like floating up on I forget the planet. Oh my god, I can't remember. The Forerunner one from Halo 4. Requiem, yep. That's it.
Yeah, that's how Halo 3 ends. The end of the trilogy, like the end of the saga. It's pretty epic. It's a great crescendo the entire time. It's just, it's an epic like experience in an epic game, like to cap off
it's a fun
the Bungie
game.
Side of the franchise.
Like I always say about Halo, 2 has the best story, but 3 has the best gameplay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But the story's solid in 3 as well.
It's good,
it's not like it's bad. Yeah.
But its levels are just so good.
Yeah, definitely. So that's it.
And I wanted to bring up, I'll make it quick, but I wanted to bring up some key multiplayer things because Halo 3 is the peak of Halo. I'm not just saying in terms of quality, but in terms of its popularity, you know, how it was reviewed. This was the highlight of the Halo series.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when it got its biggest. Now, Halo 3, to my knowledge, I'm pretty sure it's still true. Unless Starfield beats it, but I doubt it, is the only game, it has the longest streak for most played game on Xbox, like being number 1 spot on that for 3 years in a row.
Uh-huh.
And something I wanted to mention about that, though, was like, I feel like it was going up against bangers because this is the time that Call of Duty started popping off, right? So 2007, Halo came out.
Yeah, it
most
has some
played
stacked
game.
competition.
Yeah, Halo 3 came out. Most played game on Xbox in 2007. The Call of Duty it was competing with was COD 4, the original Modern Warfare, which I would say is probably the start of when Call of Duty got like super mainstream.
Yeah, it really blew up after that point.
Then the following year, 2008, Halo 3 still held the number one spot. Now it's going against COD World at War, but it still stayed at number one.
Yeah.
This is when zombies gets introduced. That's crazy. Then the following year, 2009, Halo 3 still number one most played on Xbox against Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
Then 2010, this is when it finally dropped off, but it didn't drop off until Reach came out. It was beating Black Ops 1 for a little bit.
Wow, that's impressive. Yeah, that peak and that like longevity of that game is crazy, multiplayer wise.
And you know what it is? There's a reason. I'll tell you right now. Forge was introduced.
Oh, yes. Forge is a huge thing. You got to talk about that like just a little bit at least. Forge was massive. It allowed like the community to add so much to the game and create their own maps, create their own modes, all kinds of stuff. So
yeah,
Forge was a major thing.
This is the point where Halo split into
this
having
is
so
actually
many
the
communities.
one. Forge and Halo 3 was like the first thing I ever played in Halo. And I remember it just consisted of me like, I don't even know what map it was. Just like it had some mountains and there was like a hangar and a mountain.
I think that might be
Rat Race, I think it's called. Rat's Nest, sorry.
Maybe it might be on Reach, but it was one of those. And I used to just spawn vehicles and fly around and play with like one of my other friends and just drive into each other.
Yeah. You know what's so cool though? Like when Halo 3's Forge came out, there was nothing, at least on console, there was nothing like that. And even on PC, it wasn't common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just giving them the ability to make their own maps with the level that they had, like, of in-depth things.
Yeah.
In Halo 3.
Developers giving people the tools to make their own stuff is awesome.
I genuinely believe if Halo 3 was a PC game, it would have been what Gary's Mod became instead of Gary's Mod.
Yeah, maybe.
Halo 3, like, it just had, like, Theater also came in. That's when Red vs. Blue popped off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was more Halo 2, but also in Halo 3. And Halo 3, in my opinion, most god tier maps: Guardian, The Pit, Last Resort, which is Zanzibar, but still, it's in the game. Mm-hmm. Narrows, Sand Trap with the elephants. That map's fucking awesome. Longshore. Let me think. Avalanche. It's a remake, but still good. Valhalla. That's like a huge Halo map introduced in Halo 3. Everyone loves Valhalla.
Yeah. Okay.
Man.
I don't know
just
if you have
an overall great game. Forge was a great addition. It brought up the custom games community, who really popped off in Halo 3 with games like Fat Man Ice Cream Kid, Assassin's Creed, there's more, probably Jenga, things like that.
Yeah, there's all kinds of them.
Halo 3 rocks. It's my favorite game ever. I have desperately been wishing for something to be half as good as it. And, I mean, there are things, but not in, like, the same type of game. Like Red Dead 2, great game, but it's totally different.
Yeah.
That's all I got, though. So, Halo 3 rocks. Go play it.
Yeah.
Hit me up for custom games.
Yeah, it's worth your time, I'd say. It's a fun game.
Yeah. Okay, I think that kind of wraps us up. Pay attention to our next episode. It'll be a regular, like, news kind of episode coming next. What's it called? Interact with, like, the polls and the questions and all that kind of stuff. And thank you guys for listening, and please continue to listen. That's awesome.
See ya.
Keep it salty.
Helps us a lot. All right.